Here we go.
Give me the cue whenever you're ready.
Okay, so, well, what, you're on Facebook Live now. Yeah, once you hear my scratchy voice stops yelling.
Alright.
Oh, we can hear this out here. How come we won't hear the applause then, but we can hear
The
this?
microphones are going to be on when that's because.
Oh, okay. I get it. Actually, Tommy will point to you.
There's no such thing as a necessary evil. How could such a cliche live this long? I'm drowning in the sea of pins and needles. I forgot my parachute. But me alive. There's angels in the water teaching me to fly, and I can't think of anything else to dream about. And here isn't where I wanna be, but it may have to do for now. I wanna drive slow to look out my window and tell me love is blind. I can see it loud and clear. I'm tired of being a stranger. I'm running low on friends, but I won't last. Well, I just need a minute to get me back where I belong. There might be some water left in the well. Don't blame me for being lucky. Gold isn't such an easy sell. There's blood on the saddle, the blood in the wine. Peace and love is hiding and waiting. They're coming when it's time. When it's time. When it's time. When it's time. I wanna drive slow enough to look out my window and tell me love is blind. I can see it loud and clear. I'm tired of being a stranger. I'm running low on friends, but I won't last long. But I just need a minute. I wanna drive slow enough to look out my window and tell me love is blind. I can see it loud and clear. I'm tired of being a stranger. I'm running low on friends, but I won't last long. But I just need a minute to get me back where I belong.
Yay! So, hi.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Jackie, and it's Thursday, May 23rd. You just heard Andrew Weiss. We've got Andrew in the studio for the next hour. That song he just played is called I Need a Minute. Andrew, that was beautiful. Thank you so
very
much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What did you think of all that applause?
I loved it. I'm honored right away off the bat. That's great.
We have a great studio audience in here.
That's right.
So people on Facebook Live are watching on my personal page, Jackie Roach, and I've been sharing it around. They did not get to hear the applause because, as Tommy explained to me, we have the mics on and only the headphone people could hear it. I probably should have held the headphone up to the... There's ways around these things, high-tech ways.
Of course.
Let's talk a little bit about the song you just did.
Sure.
A beautiful song
Thank you.
called "I Need a Minute." And I was just saying to you out in the lobby that you did not telling you anything you don't already know, but you did the Tiny Desk contest, and that was your song.
Yes, we did. That was a lot of fun shooting that.
Tell us a little bit about the whole process for that.
Yeah, we found out about the contest, and we figured it would be a really cool thing for us to do, so we got together actually in Mount Kisco. The guitar player in the band, Jacque, has a studio up there. So we all got together there, and we used the desk that I had grown up with as a child in the video, because of course you have to have a tiny desk in the video.
Does it have to be tiny? Can it be any kind of desk?
I believe it could be any kind of desk, but why not use a tiny desk?
I know. Let's be literal.
Sure, exactly.
That was a play school desk, right?
Yes, it was, and of course there's still all the paint residue on the desk and everything. It got a lot of good comments, which is nice.
Who was hiding behind the desk? It looked like they were playing a guitar or something.
That was Jacque, whose studio that was.
Ah.
The guitar player, yes.
Oh yeah, you did say that.
Yeah.
I'm already busy thinking about the next question, not listening to what you're saying. I think it would be. We'll go back to this tiny desk thing because I
Sure.
have questions about that. But
Sure.
I think it's best if we start at the beginning.
Sure.
Because you have a very interesting beginning, and I'm always amazed when I see 2-year-olds playing the drums on these Facebook videos. But I understand you were one of these.
Yeah, I
2-year-olds.
mean, they didn't have Facebook back then, so I unfortunately couldn't be seen as the 2-year-old playing the drums, but my mom certainly took home videos of that, so we have that whenever the time is right to post them.
Yeah, you got to get that up on. I mean, we can make that thing go viral.
That's right. That's right.
How did that come about that you became a drummer at 2 years old?
I became obsessed with the Beatles at a very young age, at about 2.5 years old, and my parents decided to buy me a drum kit, which they surprised me with for my birthday, and it all just started there. I was obsessed with Ringo. I learned how to play all of his parts verbatim, and then after that, of course, became the Rolling Stones, so I learned all of Charlie Watts' parts verbatim, and just kind of developed from there. I started taking lessons at age 5.
Do you remember, like, being 2 years old and getting that gift? I mean, it's kind of a...
It's funny, like, you know, you see home videos and you think, like, oh, do I remember it because of the home video, or do I remember it really because it's in there? So I know what the home video looks like of, you know, my mom had me walking down the basement stairs and seeing the drum set, so I'm not sure if I remember it because of that or because of it actually being in my memory, but yeah, I definitely remember those early days for sure.
That's a cool memory. I don't
Yeah.
remember. I just remember, like, teaching my brother how to climb out of the crib.
Yeah.
I introduced you earlier to Tommy. Tommy Califano is a bass player in a, tell me the right word again, authentic? Original?
You can say that, sure.
Authentic country band
Oh, cool.
called Way Behind the Sun.
That's right.
I got that right.
Yes.
And
Cool.
so Tommy I'll often defer to Tom for information about music if I'm not sure about it. He's my
Nice.
expert. And he has a show that comes on at 9 o'clock called 3 Chords in the Truth.
That's right.
Nice.
And so if you like what you're hearing here with me and Andrew, I hope you stay. In between, we're going to run an hour interview from show number 50. I think it was 2090. So, help!
2016.
2017.
16.
16?
Oh, no, you're right.
I thought it
17.
was,
It's 16.
I know I'm making a lot of
Yeah.
mistakes here. August 16, 2017 with the Magnetic. And I have to get in touch with Courtney and let her know that we're playing her show. That's at 8. But we're here now at 7, and we're talking about Andrew's music. Andrew Weiss, Weiss,
That's right.
Weiss, because I had it wrong at first.
Oh,
I don't know
no,
if
really?
you noticed that.
No, I didn't.
But anyway, back to your story. Do you come from a musical family? How did you get that whole love of music?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. So on my dad's side, are you guys familiar with the composer Felix Mendelssohn?
I know the name. Why do I know the name?
He wrote the Wedding March. He was like a very
It's
classical
it's
composer.
not a current.
No. This
Yeah.
is like from the 1800s, but
Oh, I wasn't there.
no, neither was I. But yeah, it's my grandma's great uncle.
Wow.
So that's kind of interesting. And on my mom's side, both of her grandparents played music. Her grandma was a fantastic ragtime piano player, and her grandfather was one of those people who I actually kind of relate to, where they didn't have much money, but he'd buy like a mandolin, learn how to play it, and once he learned how to play it, he'd trade it back in for a violin, learn how to play the violin, trade it back in, and get, a bunch of stuff, and that's what he did for a while. So yeah, I mean, my family's kind of musical. My mom plays a little bit of piano. My dad and my uncle used to play guitar. So there was always music around, for sure.
And you're also, like your relative, a multi-instrumentalist. Is that how you learned something and then went on to something else? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't such a planned out thing. I started taking drum lessons when I was about 5, and then discovered my dad's guitar in his closet that wasn't being played anymore. So I just picked that up and taught myself how to play. He taught me the first couple of chords, but then I took it from there. And then when I was about 7 years old, my mom tried to get me to take piano lessons, which I embraced at first, but then I kind of wanted to stray from the classic piano book. So she canceled the teaching, but I still taught myself how to play piano, and it just kind of developed from there, and songwriting eventually came out of learning how to play all those instruments.
And I saw somebody refers to you as a band in a box.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. A couple years ago, some music journalist wrote that about me, which is a very nice compliment.
I think that's a great thing to kind of put on your one sheet, right?
Yeah, it describes me pretty well. I hope. Yeah.
And you say that the piano, guitar, and I saw a written bass are all self-taught.
Yeah, they are all self-taught. I mean, I had my dad had taught me a couple of chords, and maybe I took a
3
handful.
chords.
Yeah, 3 chords and the truth. That's right. It all comes from that. But yeah. Basically everything besides drums is self-taught, I'd say.
Oh, you had drum lessons, you said,
I
right?
did have drum lessons, yes, for a lot of years, from age 5 to about 17 or 18.
And did you grow up in the New York area?
I did, yeah, Long Island all my life.
All your life?
Yeah.
And so that's where you went to high school then too, right?
Yeah.
And you had a band in high school band?
I did. I had a couple bands. I was part of a jazz quintet. I was part of a rock band, and then I kind of started my own project called High Fascination when I was about 9th grade, maybe about 9th grade, and I started writing songs. So I naturally would like to record. Started to record them. So I played all the instruments in these recording sessions, making what I thought were demos, hoping that maybe a band would come along, or one of my friends secretly was learning how to play guitar, and I can go, oh, you should play on this. But I never really found anyone to play with in those early years. So the first 4 albums, I think, are kind of all me playing everything and singing everything and writing everything, which is nice. It was kind of cool.
According to the notes on your website, it says the first 5 original albums you played
5.
all the instruments.
Okay.
And then, I'm telling you.
That's right, yeah.
You collaborated with others on 3 more.
I did, yes.
And this was all in your teenage years?
The first 4 records, I think, were probably my teenage years. After that, after high school, I went to New York University in Manhattan.
NYU?
Yes. And there, I found a couple of people to collaborate with. So
yeah, 1 or 2.
I kind of had a band, the members were always switching in and out depending on commitments and other things like that. But yeah, we had a couple albums made during that time, which was nice.
Is that the band that was called the Strat?
No, so
that's another band.
The Strat was like before high school.
Oh, wow.
That was middle school, yes.
Now I'm really confused. I thought I had it in order here.
No, that's all right. The Strat was like my first real band. When I was in like middle school, we played around the Long Island area.
Oh my goodness.
Sweet 16s, that whole kind of bit, and then they were 3 years older than me, so they had gone to college. And when I was in high school, that was when High Fascination became my project.
Ah.
And then that took me into college, and then after college is the project I have now, Andrew Weiss and Friends.
Oh, so now we pretty much have the whole story.
That's the timeline.
I was actually looking at some other information that I thought was kind of interesting about you. You opened for a band called Push Play,
I did.
and I never heard of them, but for some reason I thought that I had, and I researched them, and
Yeah,
they're kind of a Long Island sensation. So you were friends with these guys, or?
Yeah. Through mutual friends, we ended up opening for them at this pretty well-known club. It's not there anymore, but it was called the Crazy Donkey.
Right.
In Farmingdale, Long Island. So yeah, we ended up opening for them there, which was a fun day. Yeah, it was cool.
They have like 297,000 views on Facebook.
Is that right?
On
wow.
YouTube.
Wow.
So I said, God, I should have heard of these guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're up to now. I don't know if they're still together or not. But
They're old guys, and their voices probably changed.
Yeah, probably. They're probably not teen sensations anymore. But
No,
you know,
but I'm
it's all
sure
good.
if they could do a reunion tour, maybe with
Yes.
the Backstreet Boys or something.
Exactly.
I also saw something that caught my eye. You mentioned Mendelssohn. John Philip Sousa came up on your website.
Yeah, when I was in high school, they gave me that award for outstanding musicianship, which was very cool to get.
So what did you do to win that award? I mean, just basic.
Yeah, I mean, I went through the whole music education system. So you had like the symphonic band and the jazz band and the NISMA. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. The New
Why
York
do
State
I know that?
Something. It's like you go twice a year to get tested in front of a judge to play like a certain piece of music and your scales, or if you're a drummer like I was, I played rudiments. And yeah, so I guess just the combination of all that.
So you're a member of NISMA?
It's not an association.
Well,
it's like I went through the education system of NISMA.
I think it was Teddy Kumpfel that was a member of that. He's in now I'm going to forget. I should have never said it.
No.
I didn't research it. But he was somebody I interviewed once, and that's what's sticking out in my mind.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, I think this might, before we jump into the new stuff, because I know we definitely want to talk about the new stuff.
Yeah.
We should probably take a break in the middle and I'll take a break while you do some more work. Would you be willing to play another song for us?
Of course.
But what do you have in mind?
I'll play a song called Only Break My Heart.
Ooh, that's an unusual song.
It's in drop D tuning, so I had to just, there we go. Alright.
Decide when you want to stray. told you you can keep it, but I want something in return. I love you, respect way too much to see. If I'm not worthy, please don't tell me. It would only break my heart. Only break my heart. Only break my heart. Only break my heart.
Yay!
Thank you.
Jackie clapping along with the large crowd that we have in the audience. Woohoo! That
Thank you.
what a beautiful song.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I picked up I pictured this. It's so funny. This line, I loved it. You stole the smile right off my face.
Yeah.
And what is it that you were asking for in return, though?
Oh,
Just that she not lie to you, or she want a lie, or
Basically respect.
respect?
Respect. Yeah.
Was it is it kind of an unrequited love?
Yeah. That's basically the premise
Oh,
of the
good.
whole
I
song.
got it. I don't
Yeah.
always get them.
Yeah. It was one of those songs that just kind of, you pick up your guitar and the first thing that comes out is that first line. Yeah, and it just kind of developed from there. Yeah.
Only break my heart.
Yeah.
What, did something inspire that? A real life experience? or-
No, that song is not actually based on something I went through. It's one of those things where a line can inspire a made up story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Ah. I loved the song.
Thank
Is
you.
that on the new album, or is that
It is, yeah. The new album's called The Honeymoon Suite.
the Honeymoon Suite?
Yes.
And this is by a new project that you started called Andrew Weiss and Friends.
That's right, yeah.
Do the friends rotate?
They haven't yet, but I'm always open to playing with new people. The nucleus of the band are two of my very good friends, Phil Anthony and John Venezia, who you know Phil.
Right.
And they're awesome. They're the best band you could possibly ask for.
Well, Phil and Melissa, who are, you also know, we talked about Melissa earlier, not on the show. Remember I told you I get
That's right.
confused. I think people know what I'm talking about.
That's right.
They were here on the show. They're a band called Mosa that we interviewed. And I often ask my guests to recommend other people for me to talk to. And Phil insisted, you absolutely must talk to Andrew.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'm so glad that I paid attention to him. Sometimes
yeah, likewise.
I write things down. You can see me writing notes over here, and then I throw the notes out and never look at them again.
Right.
Yeah, I understand. So you and Phil are in this band together,
Yeah.
Andrew Weiss and Friends.
Yeah.
Do you have a few other projects? Did I see something about a jazz band that you do with Phil?
I do,
or?
yeah. Not with Phil, but I do have a jazz trio that I perform with weekly, actually, out in Long Island. But yeah.
Oh,
It's,
I thought Phil mentioned to me he was in a jazz band. I guess I just made that assumption.
he does play with us sometimes. But yeah, the regular bass player is a Long Island bass guy.
And you have a residency out in Long Island?
We do, yeah. This place called City Cellar in Westbury, Long Island. We're there every Sunday, so anybody listening, come on out.
Where's Westbury?
It's a little further west than where I live, but it's like close to, if you're familiar with Glen Cove or Roslyn.
I know what it is. Well, I was going to ask if you know about Treme Islip.
Oh, Treme, yeah, of course, yeah.
Do you know the folks there?
I have been there a couple of times and have never played, but I have seen the guitar player in my jazz trio performs there once in a while, so I am familiar with that place.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
I was going to say I could introduce you to them.
Cool.
I book a band there, Gil Paris Band.
Okay,
He's
cool.
going to be there on June 1.
Oh,
Saturday,
nice. Awesome.
June 1.
Awesome. Yeah,
And,
well, we'd love to play there for
Yeah,
sure.
their
That'd be cool.
their jazz place.
Cool.
And, so I got ahead of myself though,
Yeah.
and I lost my train of thought. Let's go back a little bit to the mini desk.
Oh yeah, sure.
Is it mini desk?
The
Small
tiny
desk?
desk.
Tiny.
Tiny desk.
Oh my
Close
god.
enough.
Because I'm a giant show, so you know
Yeah,
nothing
that's
I do
right.
is small, so I don't remember.
That's right.
I don't remember names. You said you'd learned about it and you submitted your music.
Yeah.
How did you learn about it?
I believe it was Facebook. A couple years ago, I guess because I follow NPR on my Facebook account, and I'd seen that they posted something about it, and I hadn't done it for a couple years just because I didn't think I had the right project that would allow itself to be showcased by Tiny Desk. But because of the nature of the music I was writing for this new record, I felt like it was perfect for it, and I think we came out with something kind of cool.
It's really nice. I mean, it's a very, very nice song.
Thanks.
And enjoyable. But I'm curious, is there actually a winner, or is it just an opportunity for everyone to submit music?
I mean, yeah, for both, for sure. I mean, there is a winner, but I guess it's kind of nice. I think they had over 6,000 people participate in the contest, which is awesome. It's cool that everyone's getting music out there.
That's kind of where I got confused. How do they ever pick one out of that many? I'm sure there's more than 6,000.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what their process is like. I know they have like a panel of judges, but
I'm drilling you
yeah.
here. You didn't know you were going to get tested.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to have someone from NPR come on here and talk about it.
I guess. And,
yeah.
and then my next question would be, how do you know if you won? Like, I mean.
Oh, I mean, they let you know.
And when do you know if you won? I mean, how long does it take to go through 6,000?
I have no idea.
And what do you win?
I think you get to do like a Tiny Desk performance at the NPR studio.
Ah.
So, yeah.
Tiny Desk performance, Tom. It's kind of like what we want to set up out here in the lobby, which, by the way, we have a name for it now. It's called Sessions on East Main Live, because we are located at 26 East Main in beautiful downtown Pauling. And I could throw that out there. Probably should remind folks they're listening to Jackie's Giant Music Show on thebeatofthevalley.com and paulingpublicradio.org. We're on Facebook Live. We are recording from the Rush Studios, as I said, 26 East Main in beautiful downtown Pauling. We are talking with Andrew Weiss. That is my radio voice. Let me go back to my scratchy voice now. Andrew, how would you describe this new band project that we're talking about, Andrew Weiss and Friends?
It's always tough. I have been asked that question before.
I'm not original.
No. That's okay. But yeah, I mean, I think it's somewhere between folk and alternative rock, and definitely like 70s Laurel Canyon vibes for sure. At least that's what I hope. But yeah, maybe somewhere between all those things.
I will confess another thing right here on the radio. I had to Google, is Laurel Canyon a band, or what is Laurel Canyon? I learned a lot prior to this interview, actually, and now I know that it's the Mamas and the Papas and Joni Mitchell, and it's a sound that came out of Laurel Canyon.
Yes, in Los Angeles.
Doesn't that sound like a great band name? Tommy, is there a band? There are
probably a million of them.
I could picture you wearing a T-shirt that said Laurel Canyon Band.
Well, he is wearing a T-shirt.
The birds are from
the birds are from there as well.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. See, Tommy, that's your kind of music.
For sure. There's actually a movie coming out this weekend. I don't know if you heard. It's called Echo in the Canyon.
No.
And it's kind of funny we're talking about this right now, but it's actually about that. From what I understand, Jacob Dylan goes on this kind of interview tour around the area where the musicians from the 60s and the 70s are still living there, I guess. And he talks to them about the influence of folk melding with rock, all starting with Roger McGuinn and the Byrds. I think Crosby's in the movie, and Stephen Stills.
Crosby's in
Tom Petty's in it too, so you should.
How could he be in it?
Yeah.
Is he a hologram?
It was his last interview, or one of his last filmed interview, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then that's I haven't heard of that yet, but that I did hear that Elton John movie is coming.
I heard that
out.
too.
That's what I thought you were going to say. But it's
no,
going
no.
in the direction I thought. Notice how I picked my pencil up with my toe. Oh, sorry everyone, all my secrets. I dropped my pencil. Well, that sounds like a really interesting movie, Echo and the Canyon.
Yeah.
And Jacob Dylan, Bob Dylan's son.
Yeah.
Is he interview his dad, or did you say that? And
I actually don't know. That's a good question.
thank you. Yay!
My guess is probably not.
Why?
Because
He
I
was
guess
from
he was
there.
he was more New York.
But he was a part of that. I mean, according to what I read in Wikipedia, and that is
Right,
never
right.
wrong, right? I mean,
Very true.
Wikipedia is the end all.
Of course.
I gave $4 to them. They better be right.
That's nice. Yeah, that's cool.
For what? Once in a while, you go on that thing, and it's like, will you make a donation to keep us going?
Yeah,
And I figure
yeah.
if I don't give them the money, they're not going
They're
to
not gonna keep
give me
going.
the.
It's good.
information
It's good
I need.
advertising.
I think so. It's a good
Yeah.
way to hold people hostage.
Yeah, make them feel guilty.
That's right. Then it's $4. I mean, really, I
Yeah.
think it works.
Yeah.
But I thought I read anyway. Back to the story
Yeah,
here
yeah.
that Bob Dylan was part of that whole thing. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
I mean,
He's a huge influence over it.
Exactly, a
Yeah.
huge influence for sure. I mean, the Byrds' first hit was a Bob Dylan song.
Oh yeah, Tommy.
Mr.
Did you know that?
Tambourine Man, yeah.
What was it called?
Mr. Tambourine Man, you know it.
Mr. I know the song, but I didn't make the connection that was the Mr. Tambourine Man.
Yeah.
Sing us a song, you're the tambourine man.
Yeah.
No? All right. Well, it went. It went there. I would love to hear a little bit more about the recording process for Honeymoon Suite. Like,
Oh, sure, yeah.
where do we begin? How many cuts are on the album?
There are 11 cuts on the album.
And you wrote them all, I'm
Yes.
gonna assume.
Yeah, they were all written by me. And yeah, basically the process was once my previous band had kind of ended, I had started writing a different kind of music, not on purpose, just because that was what was happening. And Phil and John I had played with just over the years in different projects, and I really liked the way that they played. And they're kind of like a package duo. They do everything together, drums and bass, and it's kind of an excuse to spend a little more time with them too. You know, I like them as people, so we kind of got together, and I started rehearsing the new stuff, the new songs I was writing, and they were perfect for it. And we had about a handful of rehearsals and came up with some cool parts, and we recorded it in Mount Kisco.
Right, you were saying in John's.
In our friend Jacque's
Jacque's.
studio. Yeah, I know a lot of J's.
Jacque and John,
Yeah.
Jacque is a derivative of John.
Sure.
Excuse me, folks. Where in Mount Kisco is this?
You know,
In his house, you said?
it's like a separate studio space from his house. I'm not exactly sure what part.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
close to where I am.
Oh, okay, cool.
And how did you and Phil and John get to meet?
Just through mutual friends and being in the scene. Like, I had known people in college that knew them, and like I was friends with their friends, and we didn't really know each other. And then all of a sudden, our paths just kind of crossed, and all of a sudden, we were hanging out. Yeah.
Isn't Phil is kind of from Westchester area, isn't he? Or
Yes. Yeah, but I guess just he had a friend. Has a friend who I went to school with, a mutual friend, and I met him, and yeah, it's kind of just like a whole triangle of people who were
interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interest. It's a small community, really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of musicians, but it's really a tight.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice. Like, if I hadn't met this person, I wouldn't have met this person, and that's like with anybody in life.
Yeah.
Not just
Like I wouldn't have met you if I hadn't have met Phil.
That's right.
And
That's
actually,
right.
I'm not even sure if how I met Phil, but I'm going to want to say that I met Phil through Elisa Zuckerberg, who has this website I want to tell you about. I'm wondering if you ever heard of it. It's called Hear It There. Hear, H-E-A-R, H-E-A-R, like you hear with your ear.
I don't think so.
It's a website that is a live music directory where you can search by your region, your genre, your venue, and find a place to go that's close to home.
Oh, that's so awesome.
What's really good about it is it's populated by the musicians and
Yeah.
it's populated by the venues.
Right.
It's a free resource for you to use,
Yeah.
and where there is an opportunity to purchase, additional promotional assistance from Elisa Zuckerberg. She's actually listening,
Oh, cool.
or she's watching on Facebook.
Cool.
And Elisa runs this website. It's a great place to go, and I will send you the link because
Yeah.
Hear It
that'd be awesome.
There. she's looking to get some Long Island shows on the website as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's awesome.
that would be great,
Yeah.
and I recommend that you use the site. She sends out an email twice a week.
Cool.
Sounds like a commercial, doesn't it? Mondays or Tuesdays, the beginning of the week and the end of the week. So we've got music all week long,
Right,
and then
right.
the weekend's coming up, and with Memorial Day weekend coming
Yeah,
up.
for sure.
Which leads me to your gig schedule or show schedule.
Yeah.
Do you have things coming up
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you want to
So
talk about?
the next full band show that we're doing is at a venue on Long Island called My Father's Place.
Oh, everybody knows about
Everybody
My
knows
Father's
about that. Yeah,
Place.
I feel like
It's at the Rosalind Hotel, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Whenever I mention that name, somebody always has like, "Oh, I was there when so and so performed in the '70s," and yeah, it's a really cool venue. We played there in September. That was about maybe a month or two into when they first reopened.
Right.
And that went really well. So they asked us back, and we're gonna be there July 10th.
Is that Epi?
Epi. Yep.
July 10th. That's a
10th.
Wednesday night,
That's
isn't
a
it?
Wednesday night.
Are you the headlining act? Or?
We are. Yeah. Yeah, which will be
Cool.
cool. Yeah, and actually, Melissa is gonna open the show.
Is she opening with the Mosa or just Melissa singing? And
Solo acoustic. She's gonna do.
even though filled in
Yeah, the venue like wanted to structure it kind of like a solo acoustic first, and then another band, and then us.
Oh, it's three.
It's gonna be
it's
three
a
actually.
showcase.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. But yeah, Melissa's gonna open the show. Our friends Tucker Woods, they're also a Long Island based band. They're gonna have the middle slot, and then we're gonna headline.
I'm writing down Tucker Woods. Hold on.
Cool.
Say something more while I write. Or I'll forget.
All right, cool. But yeah, it's July 10th, and you can get tickets on My Father's Place website. Yeah, I think the show starts at 8 o'clock. July 10th.
Is Melissa starting at 8, or that's when you start?
Melissa's gonna start at 8. Yeah.
Is Tucker Woods say? I want to say it sounds like a bluegrass band, but
No, they're actually like they got this like Brit pop kind of vibe to them.
really,
Yeah.
Oh, I really want to check them out.
Yeah, they're cool. We've done the Andrew Weiss and Friends project. We've done a couple of shows with them over the past couple of years, and yeah, we're all friends in that band, so it's pretty cool to play with them.
That'll be a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so July 10th is a ways away. Do you have anything going
Is-
on beforehand? Or?
Yeah, I mean, so the past couple of months and the upcoming month ahead will be dedicated to recording a new record that we're working on actually. So there's not so many full band shows, but I'll be performing a couple of acoustic sets in Long Island. Yeah, this weekend I'll be out in Montauk. Anybody listening who goes out to
party
Montauk,
place.
yes, I will be there performing 2 gigs this weekend, and
Kicking off the summer out in Montauk.
yes, I've been doing it that way for the past 6 years. I think every Memorial Day going out to Montauk.
Cool. That sounds
Yeah.
like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I saw you have something coming up towards the end of the summer in August at the Rockwood Music Hall.
Yeah, Rockwood is kind of nice. It's like our home away from home as far as venues go. We play there a couple times a year, and it's always great there. They've music from like 4 to 2 in the morning or something like that. So it's like constant people and meeting new people, and the band before you is like, oh wow, like it's so great to hear great music, and yeah, it's a great scene at that place.
You say it starts at like 4 in the afternoon there?
Sometimes it does, yeah.
We gotta get Way Behind the Sun over at Rockwood Music Hall. Yeah, Tom. he's agreeing. He goes wherever his bandmates point him, he shows up and plays.
True musician.
Yeah, he's a good
Yeah.
good guy, Tom. Very steady. Does a fine job on the board. I'm so glad to have him as part of the team. Well, let's see. Where can folks find you on social media? Because I mean, if I want to know where you're playing in Montauk, the venue you're at, or whatever else you have up your sleeve, do you first of all, let's start here. Do you prefer people go to your website, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter? What is your number one
I think
place?
the most information you could find is on the website. It's www.andrewweissmusic.com. That has like the updated current gig schedule for all my different projects that I'm a part of, and there's also the Facebook pages that have the schedule for Andrew Weiss and Friends, and Instagram. Twitter, which I don't keep up as much as I probably should, but I think Instagram and Facebook are a little more user friendly, so I kind of lean towards that. And then we're on Spotify. The record, The Honeymoon Suite, is on Spotify, and also wherever music is sold.
Ah, all the interwebs.
Yes, all of the interwebs.
You said something interesting, and I've been asking all my guests, and I'm
Yeah.
sure my listeners are sick of hearing the question, but
Yeah.
do you think Twitter's dying?
I'm
Can
not
we
sure.
kill that yet?
I mean, it does seem like the most sure thing to post onto when I'm doing social media. Like Instagram, it's like you get a nice feeling when you're posting. Facebook, like similar thing, but I think I prefer Instagram the most. But Twitter, for some reason, I'm not sure why. It just seems like a chore to post onto there.
It's an effort, because
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you noticed, for some reason I was on
Yeah.
there and I actually tweeted that I was
Yeah, I saw
going to
that.
interview
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and I don't always do it,
Yeah,
but I have to look you up and
Sure.
find where you are
sure,
and see if you have something interesting that I could just like retweet.
sure.
Before you know it, it's like, I have to cut something out.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm getting sick of.
Right.
I'm also kind of getting a little disillusioned with Facebook, and thinking maybe Instagram.
Yeah,
is the way to
Instagram
go.
just seems like the best of both worlds, honestly. Like you could still post, and you have to post a picture when you do Instagram, but it's if you have the right content, I think it's definitely the most fun to use.
Can you do video on
You can, yeah. They have like Instagram Live,
like this? What we're
like
doing
basically
on Facebook?
like Facebook Live, but
Oh.
on Instagram, which is cool.
Maybe if I started using Instagram, people would think I was in my 30s.
That's right, maybe.
There you go. There's another way to de-age myself.
That's right.
Let's just review these things now. Facebook, Andrew Weiss, WEISS music.com. Right?
Yes.
Instagram, same thing,
Instagram is Andrew Weiss Music.
but not .com.
No, not .com. It's part of Instagram.
And then I just Googled, or whatever you call it on Facebook, search for you by your name, Andrew Weiss Music.
Yeah, I think for Facebook it's like facebook.com/Andrew Weiss and friends.
That's too much to remember. And Twitter, just for those who are still like
Yeah.
hooked on Twitter, at Andrew Weiss Music.
Yes.
Which
exactly.
really is pretty simple because it's all the same.
Yeah, it's
more
all
or
the
less.
same handle. Yeah.
Now, if somebody wants to send you an email,
Yes.
would you like to give that out, or do you not want that out there?
Sure.
There's a twist in there.
It's on the internet anyway. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
the T twist.
Yeah. It's Andrew T Weiss Music @gmail.com.
Why the T? There was already an Andrew Weiss Music.
Yep. Believe it or not, I'm not sure why.
I wonder what kind of music they play.
I don't know.
We'll have to look it
I'm
up.
not sure. Yeah.
Let's go on Twitter and find them.
Yeah, we should look them up right now.
Well, let's see. What else can I ask you? We talked about where you're playing in the next couple of months. Is there any venues that you'd like to play at that you haven't played at yet that are on your radar?
Yeah, you know what's actually, I've been hearing a lot about this new venue at City Winery in Manhattan.
Mhm.
Of course, the main City Winery venue has been there for a while, but they just opened up a couple months ago this new place above that City Winery called, I think, the Loft at City Winery.
Yep.
And that seems like a really cool place. I think we do pretty well there.
I wonder if that's I've seen some video done there where it's all the giant wine barrels.
Oh yeah, that's something.
Is that the basement?
That's my old band actually did one of those sessions. I think that's like a separate part of City Winery. Like it is related, but that's like the basement of City Winery.
Oh, it is the basement.
Yeah.
Because I guess it needs to stay cool. They got to keep the
I'm sure that's
the
right.
wine
The wine
down
cool.
there.
Yeah.
Because the sound was really good on the video that I saw.
Yeah, those are so cool. Yeah.
Well, so City Winery, that's it?
I mean,
I don't know. That's
that's
kind
a
of
cool
a
one.
kind of a obscure question, and we don't really have to stay on it. But I'm running out of things to talk about.
Oh no, that's all right. I could play another song.
Well, I am going to ask you to play another song.
Sure.
Yes. Let me thank you now. Usually about this point quarter of, I like to get my thank yous in because I don't want to
sure.
forget them and be rude. But thank you so much. I know you came a long way.
Oh no. Of
How long
course.
of a drive is it from Long Island to
It's
here?
about hour 45.
Well, going home it'll be better.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
the traffic
Going
is...
home it'll be like probably 20 or 30 minutes.
No,
less.
it won't be that quick unless you're in a rocket.
I don't know. Maybe.
And we have lots
Wishful
of
thinking.
people looking on Facebook now. Yeah, right. I think at
Wishful
some
thinking.
point in the future we will have something like that.
I
Right.
heard I don't know how true this is, but I heard that they're developing this thing where it's like I don't know what you even call it, like one of those like Ferris wheel kind of things where they like shoot you out of a thing and you're in London in like 20 minutes or something like that.
Is it like a time travel type thing?
No, not time travel. It's
Like, what does your body go sailing through the
You
sky?
go like thousands of miles an hour and then you end up.
Are you in something or just
Oh yeah,
your
yeah,
bare
yeah,
body?
yeah. No, you're in like an enclosed.
Ew, that sounds like a horrible ride.
I know. I mean, I read about that maybe a couple of months ago or a couple of years ago. I don't even remember.
What
but
if you end up
it's
in the
interesting.
wrong country?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's probably a reason it's not out yet. Maybe they're perfecting it right now.
I really just want to go to Long Island.
Yeah, but the guy who tested it's probably in like Antarctica right now.
Yeah, he's sorry he did it. Some
Yeah, right.
giant rubber band, and they release it, and he goes flying into the wrong country.
Right.
Does anybody go to Antarctica?
I know people who are there.
Is there a population there?
I'm not sure about that, but I know people who have gone there on vacation and they say they love it.
I'll go to Antarctica on my next vacation.
Yeah, wow.
I hate the cold. I don't like the heat either. I like just yesterday. I loved yesterday.
Oh,
that
yesterday
was a
was beautiful,
perfect
yeah.
day.
Oh yeah. Today was nice too, besides the little rain in between.
Spitting in between,
Yeah.
yeah. See, this is how I forget to thank people because I get so easily distracted. But thank you again so much
thanks for
coming
having
and
me.
making the trip. Thank you to everyone on Facebook Live for watching. Thank you for listeners. Thank you, Tommy. Here's where we thank my mom for giving me life. I could just keep on going with the
That's
thank
right.
yous. Very grateful to be able to broadcast from the Rush Studios at paulingpublicradio.org in beautiful downtown Pauling. I'm going to stop right there. What song do you think you are going? Well, do you think before we go there?
Yeah,
just stop
Oh,
because
sure.
your guitar
Yeah.
keeps drawing my eye, and
Oh,
we
cool.
talked a little bit about it earlier, but Facebook Live folks can see it. Can you tell us a little bit about that guitar and the design?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first guitar that I actually bought with my own money when I was in 9th grade, maybe.
Wow.
8th or 9th grade. It's been with me for a while. Yeah, it's an Epiphone EJ200.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Opal, is it inlay or?
I don't even know what it is. I know this. It's a rosewood fingerboard. I'm not really sure what the exact.
Tommy, what is
material's
that?
made.
The piece of the guitar where the bottom strings are that has the like mustache.
Oh, this right
thing.
here?
Yeah.
That's like fake ivory.
Yeah,
Like
it's
ivory?
pretty big. Yeah.
Faux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not-
Exactly.
and the pick guard. That also.
The
is
pickguard, yeah,
beautiful.
that's usually pickguards are plastic on most guitars.
Looks like what is that, dandelion when it turns into
Yeah.
seed head.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
pretty.
Oh, thanks.
And
Yeah.
that was your first guitar you ever bought with your own money.
My own money, yeah. And every studio that I go to record this guitar, they look at it and they go, all right, like, we'll see. They don't love these guitars, but then when I come in to listen to the playback, they go, oh, it's the most beautiful guitar we've ever recorded, and
Huh.
it's kind
So
of cool. I
them.
think I just picked a winner,
And
That's-
even
yeah.
like the keys up the top.
Oh yeah, the gold tuning pegs, yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
And so I interrupted you so rudely. You were about to tell us what song you're going to do.
Oh no, I was gonna say, should I mix it up and do a cover?
It's whatever you want to do. I mean, we
Sure.
love to hear original
Oh, great.
music.
All right,
so, but if you want to do a cover, whatever, it's your show. It's the
Oh.
Andrew Weiss Hour.
I'm gonna do an original called "Don't Give Up on Love."
Oh, all right, another love song.
Yeah, it is called "The Honeymoon Suite," so it's kind of full of love songs.
Yeah. Oh,
the record,
yeah. I
Yeah.
get that.
It's somewhat of a concept record. It wasn't originally written that way, but it ended up being kind of that.
Kind of evolved into that.
Yeah.
What I would say is you play it, stretch it out if you can,
Cool. Sure.
and then we'll just fade out at 5 of. Thank you so much, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you.
Listen and enjoy another love song by Andrew
Another
Weiss
love song.
called
Don't Give Up on Love.
Don't Give Up on Love.
Time has its way of making everybody feel older.
we're back for the last 2.5 minutes. I just want to remind everyone that we just spoke with Andrew Weiss, and you can catch Andrew at his website, www.andrewweissmusic.com, Weiss, Weiss. And coming up next, we're going to rebroadcast the Magnetics interview from August, we think it's the 16th, in the year 2017. And Kevin and Courtney are the band members that were here that day, and we have a very good conversation, and I hope you enjoy the show. I think Tommy's got to play some commercials first, or not commercials. We don't have commercials. This is commercial-free radio. Just going to go right into it. Ooh, you're going to get to hear the old intro again. Jackie's Giant Hudson Valley Music Show. Thanks. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, we're still on Facebook Live. They don't need to hear me.
The following program.
Oh, yeah, we got that part too. Okay, so we say thank you and goodbye on Facebook Live. I'll give you a wave. People don't have to see me.